Hey folks, welcome back to Techhnolyze, the final episode. Wow. I um I have really no idea what to even say to this. It's not like a lot can be said about this, right? It's a shame it's over, but also we've went through a whole lot of stuff the last couple of episodes, a lot of fascinating stuff in general, but also stuff where it's like very confusing at times, where we're not sure what is real and what is happening in our minds. Though I doubt it even matters, right? I don't know if it matters if the people we meet and talk to are material. They exist in some shape or form, be that as data in the system, as part of the consciousness of the city, as ghosts of the past, souls that are gone, right? It's weird. There's still not everything clear about how this all happened, right? What the monsters inside of the people in Lukuss are supposed to be. That is just some weird kind of discrimination. That discrimination is based on emotions, or if it's something else that makes them monsters, right? Or potential monsters. Is it because they were criminals? Is it because of some other like superstitious thing? Or is it some genetic thing, right? So we do have a lot of genetics where it's like humanity dying basically due to flaws, apparently. At least that's what's being suggested by the guy with like the weird leg contraptions. People talking about Raffia and Techhnolyze and how genes and whatnot, dominant genes, but it's all very vague, it's all very wishy-washy, confusing and whatnot. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Alright. I'll be very curious to see how this concludes. Will Ichise and Ran meet? Because we have like Onishi is dead now. Onishi's secretary is dead. Shinji is dead. Most of the people of Lukuss are dead. The leader of like Gabe is dead. Only a couple of people remain. Like Ran foretold kind of deal. What does Ichise want? He wants to protect Ran, but why? Maybe because she was always there for him, protecting him. What does he want after that? What's the... He's like, okay, let me take you upstairs, but why? What is there to... I mean, I guess there's no hostility, there's no insanity, there's no nothing, but can Ran go there, right? Like, is she an actual being, right? A human being in a way? Or is she somehow invariably tied to the will of the city and the city itself? And what do we do with Kano? He's still not dead. He wants to become the brain of the world, whatever that means. Right, let's get ourselves into it one last time. I hear that. Guardian Angel OP one last time, at least on Patreon. Techhnolyze, episode 22. Bring it home, Madhouse. Ooh, and the dragonfly once again. Looking upon a desolate city full of blood and smoke. Mutism. Alright, just explain it to me. I guess we're about to see what happens when in between each leaving and coming back. forced. Not her own will. Initiating the defense. Ooh, we have some like energy shields kind of deal. Ooh. A bloody mess. But they're fighting back. I mean, yeah. Oh, they got her. Right, Kano, what is it? Did he know? Ooh, the masks are white now. Another weird 3D shot. Myth.
街の声は君だった。
私を殺してずっと私の声を聞いてくれたあなたにそうしてほしい。だから殺して。
それが願いか。
Alright. Alright, so relive these moments. We relive these moments. Still don't know how the people turned crazy, but
狂気に身も心も委ねねばこの世界に存在を許されないのなら滅びを選ぶのみ。おにし死ねよ。
damn. This is how he goes, huh? And the two legs.
あいつ
誰だよ。
オルガノに入り込んだ。あいつもやっちまえ。何か言え。俺はまだやらなきゃならない。
It all goes back to his beginnings.
腕だろ。俺の足だろ。動け。動け。
The dog's chair. I mean, now you lost. So was it what the thing the dog did? With her cells in the biocircuit? Is that what you foretold? That he would be the only one left? Everybody else would be dead. This guy in the cyber suit almost looked like him.
Oya, お前、大西んとこにいた。まだ動けるんだ。 何を言ってる。俺たちがこういう姿に生まれ変わったのは永遠に近い時を生きるためなんだよ。テクノライズは行き詰まった人間を矯正し機能を拡張するものだったんだ。大地に根ざし命を久しくして思考を続けていく存在になれたんだ。大西はまだ生きてるのか？俺
Root
は
in
後
the
悔
earth.
してるんだ。カノ様に従うことをなぜもっと強く奴に進めなかったとね。
The spasms.
いいさ、持ってけ。俺は昔誰かに聞いたことがある。ここがどこかをな。統括第9小地獄だとさ。
The ninth annex of the reviving hell. Are we in
もう見るだけ
Dante's
しかない
Inferno
ん
now?
だテオリア。どうしてずっと僕のお姉様でいてくれなかったんだ。
なあ、俺は変わったよな。この腕がついてからってんじゃない。お前と会ってからだ。なのに俺は同じことをやっている。
Still
これか
doing
ら
the
やろう
same
としている
thing.
ことだって俺がただ生きるためにしてきたこと。俺がやることなんて変わりゃしないってことなのか。そんなことないよな。お前は変わったか、俺と出会って。
Has the city changed with him? I mean, pretty sure it has, but the monument, like it's on a stage play.
君だったのか。テオリアが見つめていたのは。
ラムはどこだ。
テオリアはもう見たことを言葉にすることはないよ。
なぜこんなことをした。兵隊引き連れて上に行くんじゃなかったのか。
そんなこと最初から意味なんてなかったのさ。上の世界が死に絶えようとしていることくらい知っていた。テクノライズというものが人間の意識をどれだけ変えられるのかを見極めたかった。復讐こそここの人間にとって動かしやすいものだからね。それにね、僕たちはここに来させられたんじゃない。
Weren't forced. They did it on
人間と
purpose.
いう寿命を終えようとしている種族はここで生まれ、そしてここへ帰ってきたんだ。
ランはどこだ。
テクノライズによって脳を拡張された僕は分かったんだ。このルクスこそ僕の脳の中なんだって。僕たちが人間にあってはならない遺伝子を持っているだなんて幻想だ。僕はこのルクスと交わることで遺伝子から解き放たれたんだ。
Okay, what are you babbling, my dude?
僕たちは違う生き物になるためにこれから長い時を耐えるんだ。そのための姿なんだよ、あれは。
That like the goal that they all grow together as a
僕は誰
collective
よりも正
conscious.
気なのさ。それはテオーリア、僕のお姉様が一番よく知っている。でもテオーリアはもう喋らない。自分の心を自分で殺してしまった。僕の代わりになる目がもうない。何を恐れている？誰よりも正気である僕を滅ぼすことは、君自身の狂気を君が認めて死ぬまで抱き続けることを示す。
Yeah. No, it's no one. Only him. Right. The ravine with the raffia. Is that a flower or a tree? Hmm. What the Right. This is difficult to make sense of. It really is. I don't precisely know how to interpret most of this. Because it ended as confusing as it began. Now obviously in between we've had all kinds of information and stuff shaping the way we view the world here. But to sort this into a framework is really hard. Now it seems even more artistic than it started out as, really. I mean, the shots are impeccable as they've always been throughout the entire series, right? The pull out from like the focus pull from the dragonfly on the metal pole over the city that is pretty much still now. And we kind of recapture in with tilted angles and grayscale back flashbacks how the city basically fought for its survival, how Onishi defended Ran in a way, but also the city in front of these soldiers here. And also how they, I guess, how so much blood was spilled, but they took her away, right? And Kano was just watching this. The king of this world stood by watching the battle. Took away the sanity of the world's people. Funny, when he takes away all of their sanity, he's the most sane person. But he has to take away their sanity first. And now we technically have all of these Arans. In a way, right? It's symbolism, more or less. I'm the one who drove the city insane. I'm the one who put the mask on everybody. And I guess this is really weird because I don't know in which capacity the monument is Ran. I mean, Kano said she killed her mind, so maybe him damaging the monument is actually him damaging the mind of Ran, and Ran is connected to the monument, which is connected to the Techhnolyze stuff, right? The technologization. And we do it, right? We kill Onishi and Aran at the same time, the two people that Ichiza still cared about. And with that, we kind of take away what made him human, in a way, right? Or maybe we take away what made him reasonable, what made him motivated to be cordial human being interacting with other people, right? Instead of letting his emotions and his anger and his fists speak. Grayscales, like grimaces everywhere. Just everything is flashes and it rotates and it tilts as he shakes. I do like that. He's like, you're my arm. Move, move. and he gets flashes of the dog's like room, which feels to me like, I mean, I guess the cells of dog in his limbs actually helped him here, synchronized with him. I don't know. I have no idea how this shit works, right? Even today, I don't know how it works. Maybe it was just his own will. Right. Maybe it was the disconnect he had from his city. From the city. I mean, he's like dog, and he sees her like sitting in her chair. And that always like this the soldier almost looks like him. And he's like, first of all, he's twitching, which is super weird, but also he's talking about how the reason we're reborn to have these bodies is to live near eternal lives, right? And we get that explained by Kano later, where it's like we need to have near eternal lives to actually evolve into another species. Technolization is the means of evolving the human species, which has come to a dead end. So he's like genetic evolution, right? Setting yourself above genes in a way. What the fuck is happening back there? Let me just check that out for a sec. I think actually just the battery was empty. Either way, I mean, I'm loading it at the same time, so it's kind of weird, but whatever. It is what it is, my boys. We are fortunate enough to have an existence. It takes root in the earth and maintains our ability to think for a long time. Roots in the earth, right? It's like almost like they're evolving into trees. Hello? Aragi, hello? No, but like seriously, like what is this? Like tree roots, right? Sapping the life out of the land. Or maybe it's Raffia. Maybe it's like the souls that were down there, right? And that's Raffia, and Raffia isn't needed up there anymore. So it's like Raffia is seeping, like souls are seeping into them basically, so they maintain their forms and their ability to think through that. And he's like, I regret not telling Onishi to obey more. It's like, okay, cool. He would have wanted him to evolve too, I guess. That's the idea behind it. That's fine, you can take it. Someone told me long ago what this place is. He said this is the 9th annex of the reviving hell. And I think the 9th annex is actually, let me just check that out for a second. Like I was looking for like Dante's Inferno, and the only thing I found here is like the 9th circle of hell is a frozen lake, and like Dante's vision of hell in general, the 9th circle itself is divided into rings of increasingly bad sections with the worst in the center. The people who are sent to the 9th circle are people who have betrayed the trust of someone or something close and special. Don't know in which capacity that would apply to Lukuss. I mean, I do see a lot of similarities in some of like the depictions, where it's just like the sea with the reflections and the desolate landscape, but nothing that is too spot on where you're like, okay, yeah, that's definitely the reference we're looking at. I mean, there's definitely like a hidden reference on like probably something like Dante's Inferno and the 9 circles of hell, but I couldn't make the connection directly. I couldn't like, right? He says this is the 9th annex of hell, of the reviving hell. I have no idea. I mean, reviving means like the hell being reborn over and over. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can think of is like a building annex, which is like an additional part of the building, like a section, 9th section of hell kind of deal. The only thing left for us to do is watch Theoria. It's like his head and her mask. Why couldn't you just remain being my sister? Is he really just going crazy? Like, because she's like, I'm not your sister, right? I've changed, haven't I? Not because I got this arm. Because I met you. Met Ran or met the city. Like I was hypothesizing that this might be a metaphor for the city, since Ran is kind of like the seeing the city, or kind of almost the will of the city. I'm still doing the same thing. What I'm about to do is also what I've been doing just to survive. Does that mean whatever I do doesn't change no matter what? Have you changed because you met me? Do you have like the completely the 900% Dutch angle? All of these people like weirdly being like all not directly like standing on ground, but more like sprung away in all kinds of directions, like trees rooted in the earth, and like this miniature like weird monument in the middle here where he's sitting right in front. She will never again voice what she sees. It was meaningless from the beginning to go up. I was well aware the world above was about to die out, which is like, okay. I wanted to see for certain how much technologization could change a human being's consciousness, which I understand, right? I understand that like part of it where it's like, okay, cool. I want to see how technologization and like in the background, technologization is kind of like also the thing that connects us all, right? With through the monument and whatnot. It's almost like a like I said, like some of like these psychological theories on the public unconscious, but more on a metaphysical level and less on a like a psychological social phenomenon level. And revenge was the best way to move the people of this place, which also makes sense, right? He's like, I poke and prod people in order for them to actually move, right? And move in directions and destroy each other and like just do things. How can I influence people through technologization and motives, right? It's like manipulation. He's like, besides, we weren't forced to come here, which I think is like referring to like the people of Lukuss, like that it was all a lie, that they were forced down there, that they actually want to go down there. Human species which was born here is now about to come to its end, right? Like the Lukuss people are about to evolve into something different, right? We're not humans anymore. So everything has come full circle. Having expanded my mind through technologization, I came to understand that Lukuss is inside my mind. Okay, like this is hard to like comment on, right? Are we talking about the concept of a subjectively perceived reality, as in the world I perceive around me as simply an inner representation of the senses I receive as a human being, in which case we're talking about like existentialism, right, to varying degrees, where we're like saying, okay, Lukuss, the city, or maybe the theoria, the idea of Lukuss, or its people, they're all inside of my mind, right? I'm connected through technologization, I guess, with that, right? And it exists within my mind as a construct, as an idea, as a worldview. Right, sure, you can say that. It's a delusion that we have genes that no human being should have. Is he referring to like the explanation of why the people of Lukuss were sent down, right? Because they have genes that no human beings should have? Or is he like just rejecting the idea of genes in general, right? I don't understand. I became free of all genes by having intercourse with Lukuss. So are we talking about something like Puppet Master kind of deal, Ghost in the Shell, right? Where we're like, oh yeah, I kind of like became my own being without having an actual organic body. Right, I interacted with Lukuss as the city. I interacted with the entire consciousness of Lukuss, the idea of Lukuss, maybe like the technolized version of like the construct Lukuss that we build up. I interacted with that. I created something new out of it with my mind and Lukuss as a whole. And now I became free of all genes because we will evolve into a new species, right? And I'll be the brain of the world because I am the only one who is left that is sane. But that's the only thing I can like interpret on that. Other than that, like it makes almost literally no sense what he's saying. You must now endure a long passage of time, and the bodies were made for that. So this is like his explanation. He's like, all of these bodies, they will survive like for a near infinite amount of time, and that time, especially that time in inactivity, I would say, right? Because all of them are immobile and inactive, right? All of that time of them being connected as like a whole consciousness, I guess, but not being actively destroying each other and interacting with one another, right? Just with their minds and not with their bodies, not in the physical world, would mean that they can evolve as like a new being, basically, as a new species. But I don't know if that's the real intentions. I'm more sane than anyone else. My sister Theoria knows better than anyone. Theoria won't ever speak again. I like still don't know what that is, right? Why did he like chop her head off and put her there, right? Like, what's the deal here? Did he want to? Because especially since she has supposedly killed her mind, right, through Onishi, possibly, right? Like that, kill me, whatever. He sticks the blade and she actually bleeds in a way. Is that a metaphorical bleed? Is an actual? I don't know. But she's dead to some degree, right? She looks literally like staring into the abyss of nothingness, right? And he's like, what are you afraid of? If you like kill me now, that means you kill the most sane, right, mind here, which means you would accept or acknowledge your insanity and embrace it until you die, which, like, okay, first of all, he's not insane, right? He's acting to his emotions, right? He's acting out his anger, and obviously he has been working on that survival instinct all of this time, right? But he's not insane, we do know that, right? He's probably more sane than you are, Kano, actually. I think. And killing him is the only response, right, on like an emotional level, and to that display, right, of him wanting to seek and save Ran and finding out that he can save her. And it's like very cool how we tie that to the very beginning of the series, where we do have that image before when he's like out of his mind from like the pain of losing like the limb and whatnot. And that's how he kills him, and that's how he kind of fulfills that prophecy of Ran being like, you will be all alone. Only you will be left. And then we have this song. This is the ink of our lifetimes. In this world of utter silence, like nobody else exists aside from him, and everybody who's up above, they don't really exist. They're kind of like mere ghosts that are waiting to die out. Let the stones speak to me. The interesting thing is all of these other people have near infinite like life, right? So they would still exist beyond him. I don't know how sane they are at this point in time. I don't know who would lead them as a new species, but would that basically mean that each sim might live long enough to see the new species sprout, or is it more like him wasting away and waiting for his death? Because it feels like that. Tattoo here across my skin, I will live, right? I mean, I guess he still has the will to live, maybe ingrained into his arms as well, through like the will of dog, as I guess his second mother in a way, like a rose that grows from the wreckage, right? Like plants sprouting from like the concrete rubble. And he has like her head here, blood red, beautiful. I guess he throws her into the ravine, and the belief, I don't know if that's actual metaphysical reality of the world or if that's just a faith kind of thing, but like he throws her in and she becomes a raffia flower, and a raffia creates new life. Is that the thing? Or the souls will be redistributed kind of deal? Like as the storms all around me here now are breathless. The end of This is the end. Is this the end of the raging round? Through the tangled mind. Is this the end of starlit skies? Are we walking blind? I mean, I like that question, right? Are we walking blind? Like, where are we stumbling into? Because I don't know where the road leads. He doesn't know it. Let me set through this morning. Open arms to greet the empty ages. The empty ages, like nobody's here, nobody's doing anything, right? Only he exists. Open arms to greet the empty ages. Reborn, see how I'm circling. I'm a sailor eternal, right? A drifter, basically. I don't know what that is. What is he looking at projection-wise? Like, what's that? Is that a flower? Like a paint, like a painting of a flower, basically? Because it looks almost like those are two leaves here and here, like for like flower flower leaves. Is this the end of the wasted way? Is this the death of time? Is this the end of blue psychic seas? I mean, are we sailing blind? I don't know. Look down on me, watch over me as I walk across this world. Hold me in hidden hands. Let us go. Hold down on me. Right. Teach me how to take my first footsteps to the end. Who's gonna teach him though, right? Is Techhnolyze, right? Is it the will of the city? Is it still alive? The will of the city? I mean, Ran was walking past him as he was like walking towards Kano, and at that point in time Ran supposedly already killed her mind, so the question is, does she exist out there still, right? Is that like an echo of her, a part of her in some way that exists in the limbs, or that exists, but the limbs is more like dog, I think, or like in the city, or was that more like his memory of her, him talking to his memory of her? This is a super hard thing to interpret. Like, I don't know what I can say here. What I can do is like maybe read a couple of theories on what the ending really means. Maybe you can tell me. Maybe you can tell me in the comments, be like, look, here's what I think it means. Here's this aspect that you were wondering about that I think like that it means that. Now, obviously, if you claim something to be obvious, or if you claim something to be clearly objectively the case, you need to prove that, or you need to have like a strong evidence for it. Be like, okay, here's why I think this is the case, because obviously, I mean, I wouldn't write out believe you, because this is highly interpretative. Like, this is like stuff where it's like, obviously we are looking at the same thing, but it can be looked at 20, 30, 40 different ways. So to piece that all together and understand, have a coherent image of what's happening is really hard. This is like probably the most artistic piece of anime I've watched. And I've watched Evangelion, okay? But at least Evangelion made coherent sense, you know, right? Like, it made coherent sense in the way that it tied its themes together on a visual level, on a metaphorical level. In the case of Techhnolyze, like, I think like 30 to 40% of it makes sense to me from like a what actually happened kind of way, from a what themes are we trying to express here on maybe like just a metaphysical level of like just a mere mere philosophizing just for the fun of it, but and like what ideas kind of go into the series in general, with like transhumanism and like the human condition and difficulties with that. But honestly, I'm not sure how to go beyond that, because beyond that there's just too many vague things and too many inconsistent artistic representations of things, right, that are happening at the same time or happening in quick succession, where you don't know, was A the actual thing that happened in reality? Was B the thing, or is it actually C and nothing of this is reality and it's actually all happening in our minds? Stuff like that, you know? And if you come to a piece that is so far abstracted from reality that you can't really pinpoint what the story was actually saying happened here, right? And what that means for our character, right? The one character who's left. Then everything is up for interpretation, and then we have to ask ourselves, what do we do with that, right? How do we reconcile that with what we've just seen, right? And what we ourselves think. So in a way, I can't slight some people who see this as maybe as like don't see this as a very good show. I mean, I myself enjoyed it a lot. I think it's probably one of those like diamonds in the rough kind of thing, right? Where it's like, yes, this has a lot of provocative, interesting, thought-provoking themes, but it's very open-ended, very artistic, as I said countless times. So it's more of an art piece than it is an actual show with a narrative, in a way, right? It has a narrative, of course, but it's different in a way. And yeah, with that, I'm actually signing off. Thank you again to Cardboard for requesting this piece. I mean, you supported me a lot even since then, so if you ever have like a recommendation of a show that I could get myself into at some point in time, obviously, do feel free to drop it on Patreon, on YouTube, on whatever, right? On Discord. Just tell me if you have an interest in another interesting piece that you would want me to watch at some point in time. I might look at it. Not right now, and certainly not anytime soon, but I enjoyed the series a lot, but I will probably have to think on it pretty hard before I say anything about it. And I don't know if I will, right? I promised so many like post-season or post-show analyses, which I never delivered on, because it's really hard to get into them, right? It's really hard to start them at first, and then it's really hard to keep them coherent, because I feel like there's like hundreds of hours of things that you could say about any given series, be that a Frieren, be that a Techhnolyze, be that a Monster or whatever, or a Made in Abyss, even though it's not finished and whatnot. And it's really hard to kind of just go into a video and be like, okay, what is the one theme I want to focus on? Because whenever I start and I'm like, why is the series amazing? I will come up with like 30 reasons why, and I could talk about every one of those for hours on end. So it's really hard to actually... Sorry about that. Tongue is cramping a little bit. It's really hard to actually find a coherent like red thread to put through some of these analyses that I would like to make. And then there's like new series that people are excited about, that people want to watch, that I then get into, and then I'm oftentimes too busy with that and with jobs and with like university and whatnot to actually get myself into a proper video essay and just write something that is coherent and cohesive and is actually just 20-30 minutes of like a precise theme or topic. And oftentimes I do feel, even if I pick out like one little aspect of a series, I'm going through it. Oftentimes when I play that through in my head, I'm like, yes, I could talk about this one theme and just like explore it a lot. But then when I come to the end, I probably would think that there is like a lot of aspects that I didn't highlight, and I would absolutely hate that. And that's kind of really hard on me, right? That I want it to be kind of perfect, and I don't want to disappoint people with like the first essay I do, but obviously it's going to be flawed. Obviously it's not going to be perfect, much like my first reactions weren't perfect. So I don't know, maybe one day I will do something like that. But But yeah, very interesting series, very fascinating. Definitely enjoyed my time watching it, right, and wondering about it and theorizing about it. There's a lot that you can glean from that for fucking sure. Like I said, all of these references, Greek mythology wise, right, it's very much Greek mythology, right? It feels like a Greek tragedy. You have like splashes of Dante's Inferno and other stuff of like Nine Hells and like Hades, right, with like the Greek underworld and whatnot. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that you can like pinpoint, and maybe a lot of ideas that I personally don't know because I haven't read the book that actually is referenced, or the book that this very much is like. But do definitely drop a comment or two about what you liked about the series, what you loved about it, how you would interpret it on some levels, right? Definitely drop that, and do let me know what you, yeah. Do let me know what you want to tell me about it, how you saw the ending, and what you've gotten from it, right? For me, it feels a little bit desolate, to be honest. Like, it feels a little bit like very nihilistic to think about Ichise being alone in the world now. I mean, yes, he has his arm, like a legacy of Doc, basically. And maybe also his connection to Lukuss as a city and to Ran in a way. But all of these things kind of just come back to him being alone now, right? And not knowing, and just walking like a wanderer endlessly through the night. Through the night of humanity, basically, until something new buds, right? A new flower buds from it. And will he be able, like, will he live long enough to actually see that flower bud, or will he die not knowing? Because I don't know if Techhnolyze, like, the technologization actually makes him ageless, or if it, like, in some way, shape, or form does keep him alive longer. I know it does so with the soldiers, but they were also just like head chopped off and like put on this cocoon thing and into this mechanical body. So, right, I'm not sure in which, like, and they're rooting now for some reason. So I'm not sure in which capacity each Seer would survive and how long. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. I'll see you next time. Thanks to Cardboard for sponsoring this series. And shout out to everybody who subscribed to me on Patreon. I'll see you.